Welcome, everyone. My name is Sanjeev Ganatra. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at CBCC Global Research, a clinical CRO serving multiple therapeutic areas, including ophthalmology, oncology, neuropsychiatry, medical device, and others. Welcome to another edition of our Around the Globe, where we have a chance to interact and discuss innovation with entrepreneurs, innovators in industry, that are scientists, that are investors, and coming to us from multiple different areas of innovation. Today, we're pleased to have Mike Padilla. He is the Vice President of Marketing and Commercial Excellence at Alimera, joining us today to talk a little bit about some of the work that he does, as well as areas to help move companies from that early stage into an accelerated point. Welcome, Mike. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. It's great to be here.
So really what we want to do today is continue to inform and allow and educate our audience to be aware of key points, top line points that go on within the industry. Obviously, from your background with multiple companies at different stages, you've had experience being able to take small companies and continue to accelerate them to a large growth phase or mid-sized pharma company, including large companies. We'd love to learn a little bit from you today. If you could share with the audience a little bit about your background, both with Alimera as well as within the industry. And then obviously we have a couple of questions to ask of you. Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah, my background, I actually have a mixed background in both med device and pharmaceuticals in several industries. I've actually served and worked in the ophthalmic space, both front of the eye and back of the eye, for almost 20 years now. So you can consider me an old man in ophthalmology, but you know, I'm still swinging the golf sticks with a mad fury. But besides the point, yeah, it's been great to have experiences from both sides because you know, from that you learn and understand what the key focuses are for not just a product launch, but as you said, to sustain a growth pattern upward. I've launched over 30 products in my career, so lots of lessons learned from those different products. You know, you learn, you improve with, believe it or not, failures and poor launches. You learn, you apply those learnings to become better. And it really is a state of continuous improvement. And that's really what commercial excellence is all about. If I had to you know, tag two words to it: continuous improvement.
So Mike, that's a great segue. Given your experience with multiple product launches, multiple companies, both pharma as well as device, front of the eye and back of the eye, let's talk a little bit about commercial excellence. If you could share with the audience, you know, your 3 to 5 key things that come to top of mind when you're thinking about how do I take my product, my organization, my program from where it is to a better place, thinking about the aspects of commercial excellence. Mike?
Yep, those are some really great questions. I think first and foremost, whether it's your organization or even your product, one of the most important things to do is really understand the capabilities or the product attributes that really set you apart. I mean, in commercial practice, you know, we in the marketing area, we tend to do that and say that, but I challenge, you know, you guys out there, do you really do that? And sometimes it's making those hard decisions, but keeping focus on what your core capabilities are or what your product's core capabilities are. There was a product that I launched a few years back, Zybrom, and had great data for anti-inflammatory effects, was half the dose of the market leader. But you know what really sold that product was the fact that it had the lowest burn and sting rate for a non-steroidal. And that's what really sold the product, not just to doctors, but to patients and the staff. So again, really understanding what those key capabilities, those key attributes of your product is number one.
That's great. So, and that's a great point about aligning what is the core capability with what the market is looking for, right? And you gave a great example of something that was indicated, but it wasn't just the indication that was attractive to the final audience. It was those things that they experienced as well, and what it is that they were looking for their patient. So that's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely. The other point I'd like to make is, once you found that sweet spot or those capabilities within the company, or even the attributes of your drug or product, you have to ask yourself, the question: do I have, the staff and resources then to really exploit those areas? And a lot of times what's really exciting about a new product launch is there's that fervor to just get it out there. Everyone is just psyched to get it out. But we tend to forget those key things I just said. So not only understanding those core capabilities, but does the company have the resources and the right talent to then exploit them? That's number two. I've worked in a lot of areas where companies where the answer to that second point was no, and I had to find myself wearing multiple hats, and you just get burned out doing that. So number two, just ensuring you have the right resources and the right talent to execute on those capabilities. That's a very important aspect there.
And I imagine that many companies are thinking about that and frankly struggling with that right now. And so it's important to keep that piece in mind as the companies are evolving. What is it that they are able to do with the talent pool that they have today? How much more forward can they take the company? And then who else do they need to bring around the table to help them accelerate? It's a great point there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, examples of let's go to company capabilities and looking at the right resourcing and the right talent. For example, a big core competency or sweet spot for companies, this is just an example, is sales enablement. What that may mean different things to different people, but in essence is, can your marketing teams develop the right message at the right time at the right place, and develop processes to train and help the sales force execute to those things? So that's a very good example of having the right leaders drive both of those, and sales and marketing for sales enablement as a core competency in a company. They need to work very close together. So collaboration is also key. I know we hear that all the time. Collaboration in any organization is healthy, but really doing it, taking advantage of it, and executing will make a world of a difference in terms of performance for example, for a new product launch.
Absolutely. I mean, with sales enablement, when we think about those two words, how are you enabling your sales team to be the most effective?
Exactly.
And what are those tools and resources to help them be the most effective? And it's important from a commercial excellence standpoint that those tools and resources align with the needs that they have. So that's excellent.
Yeah,
very good.
And really the third point then, I know it's the P word that a lot of people don't like to hear or listen to. It's process. And process doesn't have to be this weighty thing that slows a company down. To me, process, especially in a smaller company, startup, or a mid-sized company trying to increase runway for sustained performance, process is good, and it doesn't, again, have to be so weighty. There's four key points in the commercial excellence process. They're very simple. Number one is the strategy. And strategy really includes looking and sizing up your competition, not only from a product point of view, but core competency point of view. For example, is competitor A, are they better in sales enablement? Do they have better processes in terms of managed care and things like that? So not only understanding what the competitors are saying and what type of data they're publishing, but looking at those items, it's very important. So strategy and planning is key. The other part of the commercial excellence process is then development. Too many times you have great ideas thrown out at the table, but then nobody is able to develop those ideas into tangible initiatives and tactics. So, again, like I said, having the right talent to be able to then to convert those strategies and ideas into true tangible initiatives and tactics is important. The third part is, of course, execution. Again, sales enablement is part of that execution, and that's where both sales, marketing, medical, all these folks have to get together and understand what the playbook is. And the fourth, and probably the least thought of, is what I like to call KPI management, key performance indicators. So how do you know that you're succeeding? How does one know that for each department or each group that they're doing their part? So, developing those KPIs and managing to them, are just a must, because not only do you understand or know what's working, it's a cycle. You can go back to the strategy and planning either a half year or 12 months later and decide, yeah, this is a program that based on performance, our KPIs, we don't want to do, or based off the success, we want to do more and invest more and hire more people. So that's the third point, is having a process in place to deliver it. And each company is different, depending on their portfolio, as well as the size of their company and where they are at in their product launch or in the business as a whole.
No, I mean those are great points. Some of the things that come to my mind, and I think that you could probably reflect on this as well, that we have both heard in our careers, the saying, people will only respect what they expect that you'll inspect, and from the great Chris Stacks, and so certainly, those types of KPIs are intended to both find success and celebrate the success that people have been able to achieve, but also to remind everybody about what it is that we are trying to go for, right? And so it's certainly an important piece of that. And again, you mentioned processes. What comes to my mind is that there are people who love and live in the gray, but there are also those who live in the black and white, and how do you serve sort of all three groups? And it might require putting some processes together to allow those to live harmoniously amongst one another. So that's certainly helpful.
And again, as I said when I started talking about this, it doesn't have to be a weighty process that one spends hours and hours managing. It doesn't need to look like that at all. Again, especially for smaller companies just trying to figure it all out. But eventually, as you grow, as the portfolio increases, or as you're stretching your sales targets and goals, or increasing reach globally in different markets, the processes will of course become a little bit more complex and a little bit more detailed, but that's needed, of course, with growth, and that's a good thing. It's like paying taxes. The more taxes you pay, sometimes it's not a bad thing. It just means that you've increased your annual money that you take home. So it's not always a bad thing.
That's true. No, that's fair. And hopefully there's plenty of comments around that one, but we'll let that one
go. I
bet. Well, this has been very helpful, and I can't thank you enough for sharing with us some of your pearls around commercial excellence. Certainly your experience with launching products, launching companies, helping turn around companies and products. All of those require different sort of aspects of commercial excellence. And for you to be able to share that with those that are thinking about innovation and how to grow their product, company, or program is certainly helpful, and we thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Pleasure to be on.
And to everybody out there, we certainly hope that you'll continue to listen in to this and other sessions that we will continue to host. And we appreciate your time today. Thank you, everybody.